Hi, I'm William Stewart, co-founder of Teleios. Welcome back to our verse-by-verse study on the book of Matthew. We are in chapter 21. Exciting, Christ has entered into Jerusalem for his final time and his great victory over death through his resurrection. But first, of course, he must be crucified. So he has entered to the praise of the people. The Pharisees have seen this and are absolutely displeased at what they're seeing, that the people would regard him. And we come into further tension between the two groups in this video as well. Let's go to the action. Verse 12. Jesus went into the temple of God and cast out all of them that sold and bought in the temple, overthrew the tables and the money changers and the seats of them that sold doves. Doves were used specifically in several of the sacrifices that would take place in the temple. So they were probably made available to those who wanted to use them for the sacrifice, burnt offerings, and perhaps the sin offerings, which could be personal sins. What was the temple? Well, the temple replaced the tabernacle, the tent. It is the place of central worship of Israel. It is where God came to meet man once a year in the Holy of Holies, the central portion of the temple that no man could enter except the high priest once a year on the Day of Atonement. The Holy of Holies was surrounded by the holy place where the high priest would prepare themselves for sacrifice, and especially the high priest to enter into the Holy of Holies. It was surrounded outside of this were the court of the Gentiles, where the Gentiles could also enter. And this is in the second temple, the bigger temple. The original temple and tabernacle did not have such a court. Probably these tables, and we don't know exactly, were set up in the court of the Gentiles. So Christ came and threw them out. Why? Well, I think it perhaps was to show his authority as God. It was to show the Pharisees that they were not rulers of the temple or Jerusalem. The temple is a holy place. Christ was not saying that business transactions were wrong, but were wrong when people in a place such as the temple, the one place of worship in Israel, where people should be focusing on God and not such transactions or really anything else. So, of course, this probably made the Jews, the Pharisees, even more unhappy. He continues, and he said unto them, it is written, in my house shall be called the house of prayer, but ye have made it a den of thieves. And this is den of thieves. This is quoted from Isaiah 56:7. And the blind and the lame came to him in the temple, and he healed them. So he was using it for his own purposes, holy purposes, healing, again, continuing to show he's Messiah, fulfilling prophecy, which probably aggravated the Pharisees even more. And when the chief priests and scribes saw the wonderful things he did, and the children crying in the temple, saying, Hosanna to the Son of David, they were sore displeased. So again, Son of David is how other people often referred to Christ, the Messiah, because he came from the line of David. Again, one of the proofs of the Old Testament of Messiahship that any person claiming Messiahship must fulfill. And they were displeased, the Pharisees, in hearing this. We don't know why exactly. I think perhaps because he was fulfilling prophecy. This prophecy was specific to Psalm 8:2. It was a confrontation to them, again, to their leadership, claiming Christ as Messiah, which the Pharisees have rejected. And it was being done by children. And of course, children were not worth much in the thinking of adult Israelites. So even more offensive. In 16, and here's the prophecy, and said unto them, hearest thou what they say, that Jesus said unto them, yea, have ye never read, out of the mouth of babes and sucklings thou have perfected praise. So from Psalm 8:2. And he left them and went out of the city to Bethany and lodged there. So again, maybe toning down the situation a little bit. He leaves Jerusalem, where he and the disciples could be in some measure of safety, perhaps, because his time had not yet come specifically to his crucifixion. Bethany was on the east side of Jerusalem, not far from Bethphage, mentioned at the first of the chapter. So what have we seen here? Christ, for the second time, uses a little bit of wrath, measured judgment, to toss the money changers out of the temple. He did this also at the first of his ministry in John 2, showing his consistency, his righteousness, the importance of the temple. This is really the only time he did such an activity, used measured violence or wrath in his ministry, showing the importance of the temple as the holy place of God. All right. Thanks for joining me today. Next time we'll come to Christ instructing the disciples and perhaps more interactions with the Pharisees as well. Amazing week, Resurrection Week. Again, thanks for being here, and I hope you'll join me on the next video.